Hey everyone! So for the longest time I've been wanting to make over my bunny space. For anyone new here, Turbo and Bunmi are free roam because we live in a tiny one bedroom unit and we don't have space for a decent sized bunny enclosure. We've tried a few different setups, but one of the biggest challenges has always been the space itself. It's right in the middle of our unit and it's the first thing you see when you come in. Even the wall behind it is a sliding wall that hangs from the ceiling, so we can't mount anything on it, we can't lean anything on it, we just can't decorate it. So we've always been stuck with this big blank white wall. I've spent the past few months experimenting with what the ideal litter setup is for our rabbits and coming up with ideas for what I can build to make it look just a little less sad. I've had so many different ideas for what the bunny house could be, but the requirements that I had for it were that it needed to have multiple exits, be well ventilated, contain the mess, and the bunnies needed to be able to see their surroundings. It also had to be easy for me to top up their hay, easy for me to clean, easy for the robot vacuum to get around it, and most importantly, it needed to be feasible. And by that, I mean that it had to be something that I could build myself with the limited skills and tools that I had available. Hundreds of sketches later, I finally settled on this design. I mocked it up using a free trial of SolidWorks so I could see how it looked in 3D, and I used that to figure out the sizes of the pieces that I needed to cut. Now, I haven't done any woodwork or building in nearly 10 years, but this still only took me 2 days to put together, though I didn't do it all by myself. On the second day, I realized that I stuffed up some of the cuts, so I ended up getting the help of a handyman friend who helped to salvage what I had, and he had the proper tools that made it a lot easier to get things more precise. So here is the finished bunny house. Let me give you a little tour of this thing. Now I'm sure some of you would like a tutorial on Bunmi. What are you doing? Oh my god, please don't break that. As I was saying, I'm sure some of you would like a tutorial on how this was made, but I was just winging it as I was going, and I really don't think I'm in a place to teach people how to make something like this. But it's just 4 pieces of plywood cut to shape, very simple shapes, and then to hold them in place I routed like these little channels so that they could slot in. You can see, you know, the finish obviously is not very good. I tried the ramen trick and I regret it. I'd say the hardest part was getting these angles right because I didn't have a protractor, but if you actually measure these out and have a proper drop saw, then I think it's very simple. So now let me tell you a little bit about what's going on in here and why I designed it this way. So the purpose of the bunny house was something to hold the litter box and their water bowl. So their litter box is just this storage tray from Bunnings, and you can see here there's a gap in the front, which is intentional. I've just left this gap in case I ever do upgrade to a slightly bigger litter box. I can't have a litter box that's too big because it's just kind of hard for me to clean when they're too big. I'll explain everything in a separate litter setup and routine video, but that is their litter box. And then their water bowl is on top of this platform, which is just made from scrap pieces of wood, and then I've got this fleece blanket on top to make it nice and soft for them to sit on. And then this banner up here, I drew the little bunny, so that's meant to be Turbo and that's Bunmi, and this is vinyl printed onto a piece of linen. My partner's family actually helped make this for me, so I really appreciate them for helping me out with that. So then on the top I've got these fairy lights because we all know that fairy lights make everything 100 times cuter. It looks much more impressive at nighttime. Daytime you just can't really see it. So these are just the cheap $4 ones from IKEA. I'll put the name up here, and I bought 2 of them so that I had enough to kind of cover the roof. I didn't put anything on these side pieces because the bunnies can really easily reach those, so I just trying to prevent them from chewing it. They don't seem too interested in these at the moment, so fingers crossed, touch wood, that it stays that way. Yeah. Oh, Turbo's going to the bathroom. You may have noticed that there are these channels running up the underside of the roof area. They were actually a happy accident, but I thought it would be really cool if I could have some LED strips running up here, so it would give it like a really, like this could become like a lighting feature in my apartment, but I'll think about that another time. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I know it's a bit of a home job, like, you know, look at that and that over there. It's not perfect, but I think that gives it character, and I just think it's much nicer having their litter setup look more intentional and not just a box of poop and hay and a water bowl on the floor. Anyway, so that's the bunny house. I hope you guys like it, and keep an eye out for my next video, which will be about their litter setup and routine, and I'll speak to you guys in my next video. Bye!